As simple as the tool is, the difference between a really good chisel and a lousy chisel is vast, especially when it comes to actually working and how it feels in your hand. So when choosing chisels, make sure you get all that criteria into one chisel so that you never have to replace it. I'm going to share with you what I think makes a great chisel. We partnered with IBC several years ago, and we've recently revamped this, so I'm going to introduce these to you now. The set starts at 1/8 inch and goes right through to 1 inch, quarter, 3/8, half, 5/8, 3/4. What's really nice about these, I'll just give you the composition first. They're made out of cryogenically treated A2 steel. They're hardened to 6062 Rockwell, which means they're easy to sharpen and yet they'll hold an edge. They're extremely well balanced. IBC produces all the steel parts. We turn our handles right here in the shop so that we can control and make sure that the fit is the way we want it. We also go through and do a flatness test on each one of them before we send them out, so I'll share that with you as well. I need to mention the 1/8 inch. We do these here as well. We take a 1/4 inch chisel and we grind it down. And the nice part of this is it gives you a much wider footprint for when you're either grinding the primary bevel or when you're polishing the back on the initial phase. If that was an 1/8 inch all the way up, it's very narrow and it has a tendency to roll on the stone. Having that 1/4 inch back gives you a lot of more support that you would otherwise not have. You'll notice at the tips, we now send these out with a rubberized coating on there that we think offers a lot more protection. Now, you'll notice these come apart. There's how many pieces make up your chisel. And when it comes to doing the initial preparation, the chisel we send you will come flat to within a 1/2 thou. I'll show you how we check it. But then you can strip it down completely so then when you lay it on your stone, there is no obstructions, and you can go through and polish that whole back if you so desire. We use a granite reference plate. We use a piece of 1/2 thou shim stock. We set that down with the handle portion off and put that underneath the tip. A little bit of pressure here in the middle. If we can't pull out the 1/2 thou shim stock, then we know that's within the tolerance that we want. The handles are made out of cherry. Why cherry? Well, it's a beautiful wood. It's plentiful. It ages gracefully, and it just feels wonderful in the hand with 4 coats of tung oil on it. And we try to ensure that they fit both at the ferrule and at the cap perfectly. Now, some of the features about the actual chisel when it comes time to working with it. And this is a fault that I found on a lot of chisels. This is called a beveled edge or a bench chisel. So if I'm using this to cut dovetails, I've got to get in between the 2 tails. That means I have to have the appropriate relief angle on the sides, hence the term beveled edge. A lot of chisels, you'll see the bevels that's sitting up here almost on the top. It needs to be on the edge. Now, you can't allow that bevel to go right to the back. That will create a knife edge, and I frequently will hold the chisel between my fingers like this as I'm doing delicate work and I'm tapping away with a mallet. Imagine holding a knife edge, you're going to slice your fingers. So you have to have a little flat landing right there that won't interfere with the clearance ability, but it will protect you against a very dangerous sharp edge. Primary bevel is typically 25 degrees. And that's there so that you can go in and apply your secondary and tertiary if you follow the way I do it, which speeds up the process but gives you an extremely keen edge. Now, it doesn't matter whether you buy the whole set or you buy 1 or 2 at a time. The nice thing about this is they're lovely, they're perfectly balanced, they're a well-made chisel, and this is not something you're going to ever have to replace. So think about that when it comes time to buying your chisels. I always tell people, do it smart, buy once. If you want a really good chisel, take a look at our IBC chisels with the new Cosman handles. I think you're going to be really happy.